So part 2, welcome. I am feeling very beachy today because I'm headed to Croatia in a few days. I wanted to make this video quickly about microplastics coming from paper cups. I already made one video on the topic, but I decided that I was a little too conservative and shy in it. I had reviewed one study and I didn't want to be a fearmonger, but now having read more literature on the subject, I am here and ready to be a fearmonger. So I'd like to just quickly go over the findings of a few studies on this subject. So this first study is titled Quantification and Size of Microplastics Leached from Disposable Beverage Cups. It was observed that about 6,000 particles of microplastics could be observed in 1 milliliter of sample after exposure to disposable paper cups. After 15 minutes of exposure time, microplastics could be observed with fluorescence microscopy and scanning electron microscopy. The microplastics had defined shapes like spheres and rods, and also irregularly shaped particles. The size distribution of microplastics was primarily 2 to 5 micrometers range, with a small fraction of particles larger than 15 micrometers. Based on spectroscopy results, the composition of the released particles was found to be indeed HDPE, high-density polyethylene, which is the lining of some of the paper cups. Okay, so next study. Release of microplastics from disposable cups in daily use. Polyethylene-coated paper cups, transparent polypropylene, and polystyrene plastic cups were obtained from commercial markets during the period from 2021 to 2022. This study didn't specify which country the cups were obtained from, but it was published in China, so I presume there. In the US, we import a lot of paper cups from China, so these would likely be the same kind of paper cups that we may be using in the US. They purchased cups from 51 types of different manufacturers to study. The cups were filled with ultra-pure water at 95 degrees Celsius, so 203 degrees Fahrenheit, and then covered with stainless steel lids and allowed to sit for 20 minutes. They also repeated this process at 10, 40, and 70 degrees Celsius. After that, the water was filtered through a 1 micrometer steel filter membrane to collect the particles. The filter membrane was then carefully removed and analyzed. The particles filtered from the paper cup water were observed with scanning electron microscopy, and the micrographs are shown in Figure 1. Different shapes of microplastic particles can be clearly observed on the membrane. Spectroscopy showed that the particles released from the polyethylene-coated cups were consistent with polyethylene, indicating that polyethylene was likely being released from the lining of the cups. Similarly, the spectra of the particles released from the polypropylene and polystyrene cups were consistent with polypropylene and polystyrene. And therefore, the author stated that these results affirm that the particles originate from the plastic material of the cups, and the leaching of the microplastic particles into the contained beverage from the disposable cups is clearly verified. As shown in Figure 3, the microplastic release from the disposable cups is significantly higher quantity than that of the control blank samples. There is no significant difference in the microplastic particle count among the 3 types of tested disposable cups. Elevated temperature clearly intensifies the release of microplastics from the disposable cups, as can be seen here. Polyethylene-coated paper cups are typically recommended for hot takeout beverages over plastic disposable cups, but they do not appear to release fewer plastic particles compared to those plastic cups. So there you have more evidence on disposable paper cups. They're insane. It has been estimated that routine users of paper cups may ingest 219 million microplastic particles annually due to the daily use of 1 cup. But yet they continue to be commonplace. So I think we need to spread the word about this and bring more attention to this topic. There are many different sources of microplastics in our everyday life. We could probably host like a multi-day summit just on the topic of this. But this is just such an easy one to avoid. Just don't use paper cups, use a mug. If you haven't seen my previous video on this subject, check that out as well. If you like this content, please like and leave a comment, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!